It was once a lake bed. Now it's the platform for the best off-road racers in the country. Temperatures exceeding triple digits. And now it's time to go. Fender to fender against some of the best hometown heroes. Who will stop the Metal Militia in Metal Militia country? We'll all find out as it's next here on Speed. Hello everybody and welcome to round number 5 of the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series presented by Geico Power Sports. Ken Stout, Cameron Steele standing right alongside, and we bring you to yet another first for the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. Short course off-road racing makes its first appearance here at Lake Elsinore Motorsports Complex. While it's a first here for short course off-road racing, this place is rich in history when it comes to motorsports. If we go back to the years of 60s and up to the early 70s, the people were cutting their teeth here and making some big names for themselves in motocross racing. And of course, one of the biggest motorsports movies of all time, Called on Any Sunday, starring Malcolm Smith and Steve McQueen, was shot right here. This place does have a lot of history, but now it's 2009. The 909 area code, well, it's actually changed a little bit, but it's still the IE.
For sure, the Inland Empire were directly between San Diego and Los Angeles, about 30 miles off the beach, but the Lake Elsinore Grand Prix used to happen here, and now we have a different kind of motorsports. We get to four wheels, but hey, out in turn number 3 on this track here is where one of the Metal Militia compounds used to be, where Brian Deegan and Larry Linkogel cut their teeth and helped build the sport of freestyle motocross. Now we have freestyle motocross riders and other motorcycle riders like legend Jeff Ward here racing four-wheel vehicles, and Kerry Hart is here. It's awesome. I think we're going to have great racing, and the dirt here is very tricky, and I think it's going to play into this race.
Very unique place, a mountain range right here at 6,500 feet. You come right here to the track. Of course, it's flat. This was a lake bed at one time. A beautiful lake here, as you might imagine, Lake Elsinore. But let's talk about this track. This was the former Supercross track.
It was. The Supercross track sat right on this location. Same with one of the motocross tracks. As I said, the Militia compound used to be here. Now it is an unbelievable race course for racing four-wheel vehicles. The jumps are huge. The jumps are blind at times. The dirt changes from very hard pack and greasy to loamy corners where the Lucas Oil guys have been working the corners very smartly. This is going to be a very interesting race because not only will it be hard and slippery, but it will clump up a little bit in the dirt. So a lot of tricky corners, 6 of them here on the racetrack. As I said, lots of big air, bang and bashing. It's all part of the game.
And as you might imagine, this is quite a happening here. It's not just a race, it's also a rock concert. Some of the biggest names are out here performing for us here tonight, including Alien Ant Farm. Alien Ant Farm ripping it up.
And these guys are ready to rip it up. The Unlimited 2's getting ready.
Okay, let's go down to one of the biggest motorsports fans in the house, the mayor of Lake Elsinore.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, gentlemen, start your engines!
800 to 900 horsepower, all screams to life. The best in the Unlimited 2 category, ready to rock the house. When we come back, we're going to pick it up a notch, baby. Round number 5 from Lake Elsinore, California, with the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. Stay with us. We're here in Lake Elsinore, California, at the Motorsports Complex for the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series presented by Geico Power Sports. And the Unlimited 2s are fired up and taking their pace lap. We have a great points battle going on through the first 4 rounds. Jerry Welchel actually leading in the points, followed by Carl Renazetter, then Scott Chavassa.
Definitely, it's a great race. Lots of different trucks showing up here. You can see the course there. Gonna be tacky, but a little bit slippery, but let's get back to the points. This is what they look like. You talk about Welchel, Renazetter, Chavassa, then Jeff Ward, the newcomer, and a guy that's been on a tear up and down a little bit. Greg Adler has been looking great. and then the Mad Dog Rodrigo Ampudia, and the self-funded Robbie Woods. Lots of great stories when we talk about the points breakdown.
And Robbie Woods, we were talking about him between ourselves a little bit earlier, fresh off a podium finish, his first career podium finish in round number 4. He has some new sleeper power underneath the hood of that one, feeling very confident about the truck. This turn here, as you look at it though, this one's a little sloppier than turn number 1.
It definitely is. In this track, they've done a great job at bringing the track up, which means it gives them room to cut down the surface so they can keep getting to the good dirt, but it will be slippery, and you can see coming from the pole position, Kevin Probst, and just on the outside, Mike Johnson.
And as we continue with our General Tire starting grid, Greg Adler and Bryce Menzies on row 2, and the inversion, the top 3 rows where we find our number 1 qualifier.
And the number 1 qualifier, Carl Renezetter. Number 2 was Rodrigo Ampudia, and they'll share the 3rd row.
How about Justin Davis starting his first U2 race? Now let's go down to Rob Klepper.
Well, guys, I'm going to go with the 10. Greg Adler had a great run in Arizona, ran second on round number 3. Didn't get the win, but he's got a great starting spot here today. Qualified 3rd. He starts inside row number 2, and he's going to put on a heck of a show. He went from 8th to 5th in the points. Now, I talked to Adler earlier before this feature event, and he told me they've been stiffening these springs, stiffening these shocks, because a lot of big air here at Lake Elsinore. I'm going with the 10 to win.
Adler certainly a strong pick as they get the green flag. Bryce Menzies goes to the outside, loses a little momentum to the early lead, the E3 sponsored truck of Kevin Probst.
And Adler along the inside there. You mentioned Bryce Menzies. Remember, he came off the win at the last round in Unlimited 2. He also won in the single buggy. So a guy that's proving he's got great talent, look good. Going to the inside right now of Mike Johnson. That's the black number 31. But Adler on the move, taking a move for the lead there.
Yeah, Adler with a great start here so far. There's that turn we were talking about, was a little wet. They have to do that at the start of these races to keep the dust down, but these guys got to check up through there.
And Adler, from battling for the lead to ice skating to the outside wall and back to 4th position. So, woo, big airtime there. You can see that right there is a very scary place on the track. The big jump, wide open into turn number 4 that is completely blind on the landing.
Right-hander here, Carl Renezetter with the 17 truck down at the bottom, followed by Menzies and, of course, Adler. But out front, man, Kevin Probst getting off to a great start. He needs that, too, because if you go back to round number 1, you remember in the first lap, he hit some wet spots and drove it right into the wall.
And Menzies following Carl into the corner here. Now you can see the immense amount of roost. Drivers using tear-offs to clear their vision. Carl has another electric system, and you can see Bryce setting up to the inside. He's going to try to dive inside possibly on Carl, but Carl uses the line brilliantly, carries more speed, and looks great right there. So right now, the battle on the track, Kevin Probst, a little bit of breathing room, and again, the slippery corner you talked about. Renezetter, and there goes Menzies. Bryce Menzies to the inside in the number 7 Super Clean truck, doing work and moving to that 2nd position.
And here comes Adler as well, trying to take advantage of Carl Renezetter making a mistake, pushing up to the top of the track, opens up the bottom, and of course these guys here, man, they'll jump all over you.
Adler to the inside, really steep takeoff here, and then they're going to come in to the chicane. It's a very hard right, and then you set up through this little bit of breathing room, but watch the trucks flow from one direction to the other into this left-hand turn, which is turn number 6, right into the front of the grandstands. And we saw a little bit of puff, a white smoke earlier from the Lucas Oil Slick Mist truck of Robbie Woods, and it looks like he's pulled it off to the side.
That brand new power plant in that one's probably one to take care of it. They are not cheap, as once again we take a look at the battle here. Great race going on in the Unlimited 2 through the rhythm section right there. Bryce Menzies, you know, you take a look at him, he's up here running with the best, and he's only been inside of this thing a couple of times.
And the thing about him, when you talk to him, his demeanor isn't super cocky 20-year-old guy. It's just very well-developed race car driver, cerebral, thinks about it, doesn't go out there and get stupid. He can get frustrated like everybody else, but right now he's got a battle from Renezetter looking to the inside. Tricky spot to try to get a pass, but if you get the drive on the outside, you might be able to hold the line. Carl grabs the brakes and looks to dive back to the inside, so Menzies doing a great job filling that lineup, and Carl going to the inside, gets up on the inside edge and actually taps the brakes a little to stay out of getting into Menzies' door.
Did a great job, no doubt. And there's a look at your top 5, courtesy of E3 Spark Plug. Stay with us. Watching the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series presented by Geico, and the U2s are ripping it up except for Robbie Woods, and Rob Klepper's with him.
One of the low buck teams after a great race over at Arizona. It's just sure a shame to end it like this.
Yeah, well, it's not over yet. We got a couple more chances, and it's not a runaway. You know, we're going to have to come back strong. We'll bring it back to the pits and get it all put back together and come out swinging tomorrow. That's all we can do.
Once again, we'll go back here to the action. Here comes Carl Rennesetter trying to take the spot away from Kevin Probst, and Probst has been out front the entire race.
And you can see Carl smartly running in that dry line. You can see where the dirt's a little drier. Carl's got his tires in there, setting up for a tricky turn number 4. He's gonna jump out of that little valley and into the S turns or the chicane, and Carl, very solid pass, drives to the inside, finds some dry dirt, and does work on Probst. Now, Bryce Menzie needs to try to find a way around Probst if he wants to get up there and battle with Carl.
You know, one of the things here that Kevin Probst has mentioned a couple of times to me anyways is the fact that, you know, coming from the Midwest where he's typically been racing his entire career, coming out here, these jumps are much higher than he's experienced before. They do not have the shock valving just right, so he can't hit these things at speed like some of these other guys are, and it's tearing up the bottom of the truck and the shocks themselves.
And Menzie with a great setup coming through the rhythm section, sets it up to the outside, swings the truck, basically already setting his turn in the air. Now he's trying to dive from the outside in, but he's got a mirror full of Adler. And speaking of big jumps, the jumps on the front straight, we had that overhead shot. Adler had a big kick in the rear of the truck, and that'll happen if you hold it wide open. Sometimes you got to check up a little bit. So there's a lot more going on that meets the eye as Menzie gets to the inside of Probst, gives him a little door, and makes the pass stick. The number 7 Super Clean machine on the move.
And that's exactly where Kevin Probst has been getting past, is on that back tabletop. And of course, nobody here is going to help him find that magical combination for the shocks. Adler might help him find the wall, though. He's trying to help him around the turn.
Yep, and there the mandatory caution yellow flag comes out halfway through the race. We'll regroup them, restack them, and start them in a single file. They'll be led along by the number 17, Carl Rennesetter. And earlier I was able to catch up with Mr. Kerry Hart, a crossover celebrity, coming from 2 wheels, now making the jump to 4. Okay, we're in your pit, right? I mean, this place is jammed. There's beautiful girls, guys covered with tattoos. You walk by, the music's pumping, the lights are going, things are happening. Is this what you envision? I mean, it seems like it's straight out of Kerry's brain right onto the pit area.
Well, you know, that's what I've tried to do over the course of the years. You know, like the same things that shunned me away from Supercross and fed me into freestyle motocross, those are the principles, and fortunately enough, you know, I have that dynamic now relating back to Supercross, which used to be a traditional sport, and with truck racing, you know, like I get to take my interests of, you know, nightclubs and tattoo parlors and like a really cool production side of things and bring it, you know, to the fans, and the fans appreciate it.
For people at home that don't really get it, you're driving an 800 horsepower vehicle, which is exactly the same as NASCAR, same motor, same power plants virtually, but now you have 18 inches of wheel travel, you add in these big tires. We're also talking $250,000 race vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this isn't something you just kind of stumble into, you know. Like I make the comparison, people think, oh, it's just a truck and a motor and you go race around the track. Well, it's the difference of being able to go into, you know, say down to the Honda dealership and pick up a new motorcycle and then have the opportunity to ride, you know, Davey Millsap's bike. I mean, it's that comparable. Like there's a lot of testing and development and chassis work and suspension work and tires, and then you put all that combination together, then you got to go out there and make sure whatever the conditions are, if it's you know, blue groove with water on it, if it's dry, if it's slippery. I mean, there's so many moving parts that go into it. You don't just sit in the truck and drive around and push a gas pedal.
Well, I have a feeling Kerry Hart's going to adapt quickly and be a big part of this. It's awesome to have you here, buddy.
Right on, man.
Congratulations on the team. Good things happening.
Cool, thanks.
Lake Elsinore, California. It's the Lake Elsinore Motorsports Complex with the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series, powered by Geico Power Sports. And Carl Rennesetter has made his way up there to the front around Kevin Probst. Right behind him comes Bryce Menzies. Right behind him, Probst, who was leading for so long, and then Adler, who's just been hot.
Definitely, and another guy you got to talk about, of course, Jerry Welchell's back in the pack, and Rodrigo Ampudia, who at any time can throw down and go absolutely nuts. So a stacked crew of drivers right there in the front of the field. And this track, it's drying up. It's going to make for different racing surface than we've seen. It's not going to be as slick. They'll still be sliding sideways and getting nuts, but there may be a couple different sections where they can develop something. They can try to make a push The dirt looks good. You can see it there. There's some traction, some loam, a little bit of loose dirt on top. So we'll see if they can make it work as they get ready to come around to this green flag restart.
Dude, I like the pace truck. That thing looks sweet, courtesy of Toyota. Here we go. The green flag flies. They spread out. Into turn number 1 we go.
Menzie going to the outside. You can see it's a little slick there, but he gets on the berm, dives to the inside. Looks like he's going to make it work on Renezetter. He's set up where he's been in his race line, but he's not going to be able to set up the sideways turn as much. He's not going to be able to go all the way to the inside. You see Carl comes out with contact, fills the line. Menzie holds his line, and speaking of a guy full of lines, let's go down to Klepper.
Down here in the hot pit, guys, as we just went back to the green, Renezetter out in front, but behind me you see no Mike Johnson pulled into the hot pit area, broke something in the top end. Crew telling me Johnson not very happy. The Hollywood stuntman not going to put on a pretty good show here today, but he'll certainly be back here in round number 6.
The opposite end of the scale for him. A year ago, completed every lap of every race he was in.
And passing for the lead or going for the lead on the inside, they're not able to keep as much drive. Menzie in the number 7 trying to get all over Renezetter, and then Adler's right there. So a 3-truck melee as we get on the front straight.
Welchel in that number 2 truck trying to make up some ground. Oh, and Menzie's brakes right in front of Kevin Probst.
Menzie down. Dead in the water.
Tough break for him, literally. Man, really showing a lot of promise. Every time that truck is out there, he is going right through the front.
And the super clean machine is super parked at this point. And the Geico Power Sports onboard camera with Jerry Welchel. You see the amount of roost he throws back at the truck behind him, which at this point happens to be the number 36 Papa Severe machine.
Man. Caught a big hole right there, a big rut. Him and Mark Porter, who teamed up this year, are doing great. He's your points leader. Of course, here's the Papas and Beer sponsor machine, Rodrigo and Putin. You can see how long they are up in the air. Rodrigo, just an absolute rocket ship out here. If he can keep this thing lit up and on all 4s, maybe even 2, I think he could go to the front and win this thing.
And Rodrigo also racing the Unlimited Light, the mid-sized trucks this weekend, and he sees the battle in front of him. He wants to get up there. While those 2 guys are battling it out, he might be able to find a way around, so he knows stand on it, and that's traditionally his style.
Absolutely, coming at you wide open. Man, oh man, almost dug the front bumper in right there. That would be a scary thing at high speed on that front straightaway.
And you see him, he's trying to stay out of directly behind Jerry Welchel, and great setup there by Probst coming off that 3rd of the 3 rhythm jumps. Setting up the truck sideways, his spotter's telling him, you have room, drive your line, so he sets it up in the air, throws it a little sideways, and here we go. Speaking of setting it up, Ampudia trying to dart the nose underneath Welchel as they head over those big, wide open jumps. This last one, watch him air it out into a blind corner. You can see nothing while you're airborne up there. Both drivers setting up smoothly.
So staying right there with Welchel, looking for an opportunity here. Welchel down at the bottom of that right-hander, come right back into a very tight left-hander and onto the front straightaway, just like that. It is a rhythm move, no doubt about it. You have to be smooth with it.
How's the roost, the dust, the mess? And Pudia going to drive to the outside, possibly. Welchel fill in the middle line.
Up, up, up.
Aired it out.
Oh! Rodrigo Ampudia stabs the nose. He yard darts that thing. That's what he almost did the previous lap. We were just talking about it. And man, that was a violent, violent hit. That is probably the toughest hit these drivers take when they stuff that front bumper into the dirt. It is instantaneous stop.
And a full front flip. He airs that big jump, trying to carry speed to catch Welchel. Double flips it 1.5 times actually before he ever hits the ground. You can see the entire rear end, the full housing ripped out of the truck. Watch the impact. Stop. Wow.
A scary moment. Rear end all but out of that thing.
And Wardy doing a great job to avoid him. Watch Wardy coming up from behind. He throws it completely to the left.
On board with him.
You can definitely hear Rodrigo never lifts going off the jump. Most of these drivers having to lift just a little bit to set up the truck or drag the brakes. Rodrigo holds it wide.
By the way, a big nod to our crew. What a great onboard shot that actually survived Your E3 top 5 right there.
February 4th.
And the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series presented by Geico Power Sports. When we left you, a very scary moment for Rodrigo Ampudia, one of our superstars. He's been through some nasty wrecks before, and again, he is okay. He survived a very, very ugly wreck here.
And Ampudia from Ensenada, Mexico, held it wide open trying to give chase on Welchel and ends up doing a 1.5 and then an extra somersault. Champion race car driver Jeff Ward does a great job to avoid the chaos. Here it is from the back of Welchel's truck. Unbelievable. And now let's check in with Rob Klepper, who's with another driver out of the race.
Bryce Menzies out of the race here, round number 5 at Lake Elsinore. You ran 3rd, you won at Arizona. What happened here today?
Yeah, I mean, I was running good, 2nd, catching Carl. We started battling a little bit, and I had about 4 laps to go, and something went wrong with the truck. I don't know yet. We'll have the guys look over and see what happened, and hopefully come out tomorrow and pull off a win.
Back at it one more time. Craig Adler working his way up into 2nd place. Oh, man, everybody getting together, and Welchel drives right up over the top of Kevin Probst.
So we're going green, white checker. Next time around, we'll get the white flag. So just these 2 laps of racing, and Probst, maybe due to the contact, has slowed. Let's take another look at it. Welchel gets into him on the inside. Adler is on the outside, but this is where it happens. Jerry Welchel, the number 2 Dragonfire truck, up and over the front of the E3 Spark Plugs truck. Maybe something happening in the engine compartment.
Well, we constantly talk about the suspension, and these huge jumps here, as high as we've ever seen, definitely working the suspension. Here's a great onboard shot. This is for Wardy, the right rear, and you can watch the rear end of these things fall out some 20 inches.
20 inches of rear wheel travel. You can see the coil over the spring. That's in front of the shock. It holds the suspension up. You can see the arm moving up and down, and it has a little bit of flex side to side. And you can see how much work goes into the technology and engineering as we get the white flag. Carl Renesetter on a rip, but right now Adler all over his back door.
Jerry Welchel in 3rd place. There's a look at Wardy right there. Again, Jeff Ward just hangs around, and suddenly at the end of the race seems to be in the top 5 almost religiously.
Well, you can't win if you don't finish. You stay out of trouble, keep your nose clean, you'll have an opportunity towards the end of the race. Right now he has 3 great drivers ahead of him, so that's going to be his problem. You see Welchel coming a little short on that jump and skipping side to side, a little tank swap, as we would call it on a motorcycle.
That is just huge air over that tabletop, as high as we've ever seen. Renesetter out front. Of course, Greg Adler, who's never won one of these events, has been pounding on the door, finds himself 2nd again if he can maintain this spot for the last couple of turns.
Yeah, right now he's going, come on, Carl, just flip it over right here, right here, right here. And it's not going to happen. Renesetter going to take us to the checkers, followed by Adler, and then Welchel getting back up on the top 3. Use your points leader coming into this round number 5. We'll have to see how that shakes the points out.
3 different winners inside of this class through 4 rounds of competition, and Carl Renesetter now has 3 wins under his belt in the first 5 rounds. So the 17 truck back on a mission. Great look at the Lake Elsinore Motorsports Complex, the Mag Tools unofficial results. Carl Renesetter, Greg Adler, and Jerry Welchel, your podium.
And Dale Dondell shot out there, the number 6. He built that truck at his race shop and drove it to a great finish. Kerry Hart just outside the top 10.
Well, that's what short course off-road racing is all about. Family here in the pit in Victory Lane, and Carl Renesetter, 3rd win of the year, 11th and 8th at Arizona. What's that all about? But back in Victory Lane here at Lake Elsinore, man, nice job.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been excited to race on this Lake Elsinore track for a while. You know, they've been building it and all the hype put into this and the hard work and everything. It's been a phenomenal deal, and the rewards paying off. You know, the technical track for us racers, great spectating for the fans. Lucas Oil did a phenomenal job. My General Tires, to say the least, were hooked up. It was unbelievable. Thank you, Brett. And here's the man right here.
Yeah, dog.
Brett Rapello makes it happen on this truck. And, you know, living the dream. I keep saying it, but it's true.
We're going to have a great race here, no doubt. By the way, your number 1 qualifier, Robert Naughton. And, of course, they will invert this field. Rob can't seem to get a break. Whenever he qualifies number 1, he draws a 4 and goes to row number 4.
So taking a look there, the 2 Rockstar Energy Metal Militia trucks of Brian Deegan and Todd Cafaro coming from row number 2. This track has been groomed before this race, and check it out. One of the heroes of all racing, Marty Hart. You may remember him from 3 Wheels way back in the days. And he's here racing today in the unlimited light, as is Rodrigo Apudia coming back from his crash. They're the Papa Severe onboard camera.
Robert Naughton, leading in the points, is undefeated coming into this event, has won the first 4 races. Chris Brandt has been right on his heels, but has not pulled one off yet. Brian Deegan on the podium a couple times. Casey Curry is here, but he's watching.
Unfortunately not racing today, and there's been a couple guys that have looked very smooth. You talked about your top 8 qualifiers. I'll invert a few. Heath Carpenter, who's been to the dance a few times, but hasn't danced with the stars. He is fast and looking for his first ever podium. He will lead us from the pole.
At the bottom of our General Tire starting grid, you'll find Bruce Fraley, who's doing driving duties for Leroy Lowerwald, who unfortunately was in an accident with Kyle LeDuc, who came out here to run with us this weekend. Both trucks hurt bad. Kyle's not raceable, and Leroy Lowerwald, who broke an arm. Let's go down to Rob.
All right, guys, here we go. U-Light's on the racetrack, and I'm going to have to go with the 38 of Brian Deegan. Now, I know maybe I picked him in the past, but Deegan comes in here at 3rd in the points. Still looking for his first win. He's run 3rd, 2 4ths, and a 5th. He starts inside row number 2. But I tell you what, he's been fast. Talking to him down in the pits, he loved this racetrack course. The guy knows how to jump, and that's what Lake Elsinore Motorsports Complex is all about. The big air. Deegan is going to win here in the U-Lights.
Boy, if he could win it here in front of his hometown fans, it would be big.
Right out of the gate, going for the move on Carpenter, Deegan to the inside, and he's got the position. Brandt holding his line in the middle. It's not as slippery as it looked to some of the drivers, but there's definitely some chaos going on in turn number 1 as we head to turn 2. Deegan looking to the inside. Brandt has the line. You can see there it's a little slippery on the outside, Ken, as Deegan drifts just a bit.
Robert Naughton, who got a great start, fell back a little bit there on that right-hander, but no doubt will make a run up here. Chris Brandt has been tough, but right now, how about this? Brian Deegan in first place. Is Klepper going to be right? A lot of racing to go, baby.
Yeah, there is a long way to go, but I will say this for Brian, a guy that I've known for a long time. We went to the X Games together, myself as a commentator, him as a rider the first time in '99. He digested it, saw what he had to do, and became a 10-time medalist. Now he's on the podium here in short course racing. I'm saying a win is totally possible. One guy who doesn't want to let that happen is so far undefeated in the number 54 Ready Lift truck is Robert Naughton, who's making the line on the inside of the 25 there of Heath Carpenter.
I tell you, the big surprise for me right now is Chris Brandt, or the lack of him, who started on the front row and has already fallen back to 4th place. He is struggling here. He's been on the podium all season long.
Driving way down on that inside line. Now we're going on board. Take a look. The E3 spark plugs camera. Marty Hart, you can see the tear-offs flapping there, and you can see all the roost on the helmet. That's how the drivers clear their vision. Marty Hart, a guy that I've actually lost to in competition, and there you see Marty pulling a tear-off. We were riding 4-wheel ATVs in the Great Outdoor Games, so not really racing related, but hey, he beat me.
A lot of people have lost to him as we take a look at Rodrigo Ampudia. Keep in mind, oh man, and Rodrigo almost yard darting that thing again.
Rodrigo
Are you kidding me?
Definitely doesn't want to do another lawn dart. You see him driving to the inside of Brandt. Brandt there in the 82 Rockstar machine.
What does that say about his line of thought, though? I mean, he climbs out of one of the nastiest wrecks we've seen and just goes for it again, wheel to wheel.
Shutting the door. Virtually looking to knock Brandt up onto the inside there. Rodrigo fears nothing. You talk to him, you know that he's not afraid. There he is, airing it out right over the big jump in the front where he crashed. Fills the line, a little bit of contact, which is okay as long as he's not going to the back corner. Side-to-side contact, all good, and he clears his line. And now set up for this turn. Brandt is there, though. Brandt takes the line and gives a little bit back to him. I like it.
That's how that rolls, man. That is off-road racing right there. Short course off-road racing. There is contact. It's just the way they roll.
And the way the officials rule it is, if you get into someone's corner, you spin them, going into a corner, hit him in the back corner, that's not good. Door-to-door contact, that's a part of it. Little front to tail, yeah, a little bit of that's okay too, but Tony Vanillo is always watching, and he is the one that makes the decisions on the black flags if there's gonna be a penalty. So far, clean racing here today.
By the way, some great overhead shots courtesy of the Goodyear blimp that's here with us this weekend.
And right there, the number 33 of Jimmy Stevenson. A crazy story. Jimmy was injured in an accident last year. He comes back. I've been saying on TV the truck looks a little squirrely, he looks a little squirrely, not enough traction. I stopped and talked to him, and first thing I said is, Jimmy, your truck looks like you're not getting traction. He says, you know what, my team put my rear arms up a click without telling me the day that I crashed, and I've been driving the truck like that ever since. I've changed it now, and the truck runs so much better.
Unfortunately, issues for the 76 truck. We go back to our leader and one Brian Deegan, who has the arms right on the back of that truck. He has been a rocket ship all year long, up and over the big tabletop there. And we talked about him working with Rally Racing Coach, a driving coach. Has got him a little bit better yet, and now it's all paying off. Man, he's out front, and Heath Carpenter over rotates.
Marty Hart gets by, and they're just going into a yellow flag section. So no passing under yellow, but Marty gets by as Heath steps out. And Reyes being towed off the track. Looks like the rear end is locked up, so that would tell me that we probably have a rear end gear or third member locked.
Here's a look at your E3 spark plugs top 5. Brian Deegan leading 2 class champions. And then Heath Carpenter, one of those guys makes a mistake, he'll get his first ever podium.
To face the inferno as the high flight
Here with the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series presented by Geico Power Sports. And of course, we're at Lake Elsinore, California. This is the U-Light race, and one Brian Deegan is out front, followed by 2 of the best.
Well, guys, you can see I picked Brian Deegan out in front under caution. I talked to Jorge Lama, the crew chief on that 38, and he told me they've been battling clutch issues all day long. They changed clutch right after the first practice here, and they think they got the problem fixed, and so far, so good for that 38. He's out in front. That's right, Steele. I could pick the winner here in the U-Light, big boy.
Well, Rob, if you pick him every single race, sooner or later a blind hog can even find an ear of corn in a cornfield. And there, Marty Hart getting up on 2 wheels as he gives chase on Deegan. And you see Robert Knott right there in the mix. I mean, come on, how many times is he going to give us a Deegan report?
I would pat him on the back, but his hand's in the way, so let's go back to the race here. And Deegan is doing a great job so far, and you know, he has not backed into this. He's been driving away from 2 of the absolute best in the business, Marty Hart and Rob Knott right behind him.
And let me say, living through a restart with Marty Hart, Robert Knott, Rodrigo Ampudia, all right there in the mix. That's not something easy to do. And Hart right now, look at him going to the outside, gonna try to make the drive to the inside. Look at Ampudia all over the back of Knott. Did you see how big the jump was? It looked like he had to check up just a little bit as we go on board with the Papa Sabir camera. Look at right in front of him. Knott, give him a little smash. There you go.
Oh man, sweet stuff. The Papas and Beards truck, of course, trying to make a run at it right here. Knott's truck just not driving around these guys like he has been all year.
And this is the jump where Ampudia crashed in the Unlimited 2, Unlimited Light going good. Now, here, Knott going to the inside of Hart. There is contact.
It seems as though Hart didn't even realize he was there.
Nope. It looked like maybe the spotters didn't communicate totally, but Knott definitely had the line filled. Looked like Hart started to turn down a bit, but then Knott drifted up. It's just a racing incident. I don't think Knott was looking to take anybody out. Doesn't look like Hart was trying to turn into him on purpose. Just a part of racing here. And Knott continues on, but he's got a battle coming from behind that number 36 truck. Something to think about. 36, Ampudia said in his interview, I have no points to worry about. Knott has all the points to worry about. Get away from Ampudia if you're worried about your points racing.
Let's listen. Boy, just great stuff. Never even saw him reach down for the lever, man. A lot of torque inside of that Ford. There's a look at your E3 spark plugs, top 5. Can Deegan hang on? Stick with us and you'll find out. Next, Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series presented by Geico Power Sports. And earlier, it was Marty Hart who got together with Robert Knott, and Robert Kleppers with him.
Well, guys, first time of the year for Marty Hart here in the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. And not the way you want to end it here first day, but tell us what happened out on the racetrack. You guys were battling hard for the lead.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Rob didn't want to get beat because I passed him clean a couple times, and you know, I didn't want to, you know, interfere with his championship run, but I think that move was a little over aggressive there. I mean, he came in and just friggin' opened my door, but you know, it kind of took me out. But you know, just thanks to Max, is they're the one that got me out here at Colpin Products and Southwest Ground Control, Fox Shocks, all those guys, and it's fun to come out here and race with these guys. I mean, I knew it was going to be tough. We kind of worked our way up through there, and Deegan was running a great race. And, you know, it's just tough luck. It's part of racing. I mean, you hate to go out this way, but it's always tomorrow. We'll get it tomorrow.
And Marty Hart with the classy interview, not banging on anyone, not too clearly anyway.
White flag left. Brian Deegan trying to hold on. Robert Naughton right behind him. If Naughton could get this win, he would be only the second person in history to ever win 5 in a row in this category. Jeff Kincaid, the other person to do it in 2005.
And look at Naughton going to the outside. He'll try to set inside on Deegan as Deegan drifts out. Oh, and Naughton has to check up a little bit. Doesn't want any contact, keeping it very clean. But last lap, he's got to watch out behind him, too. The crazy man. And Pudia is behind him, so points racing, yes. Oh!
Naughton is really struggling in the turns. It looks like the truck is dying for whatever reason, and then he picks the throttle back up. Of course, Ampudia takes advantage of that and goes to second place.
And Deegan, whoa, looks like he went a little slower off that last big jump on the back that time, maybe thinking he had a clear lead. And the fans here in Lake Elsinore, the hometown, remember the Metal Militia compound at one point was right here where turn number 3 is. And Deegan, the general from the Metal Militia, gonna bring it home.
How about that? Onto the front straightaway. One tabletop away, and Brian Deegan comes across the stripe, gets the checkered flag, and his first ever career win in the unlimited light category.
You'll remember his first ever Supercross when he ghost rode the motorcycle. Nothing he could do here. He needs a truck tomorrow. I guess he can turn the wheel and flip it off the jump.
If he throws this one, he's in it.
Yeah, exactly.
So congratulations to the Rockstar sponsored machine, and how about that, man? A pretty nice gesture from Rodrigo and Pudia pulling up beside him saying, good job, brother, good job. And look at the enthusiasm. Sweet stuff, man. There's a look at your Mag Tools unofficial results. Congratulations to Brian Deegan. Rodrigo and Pudia rips up there to second. Nice run for him. And Robert Naughton, the first time he hasn't won all year. When we come back, it is the home of the Metal Militia and one Brian Deegan. Stay with us for our Geico Power Sports replay. And here we go.
Deegan ice skating into the lead. And Robert Naughton doing work to get by Heath Carpenter.
Look at Robert Naughton there flying up over the tabletop next to Heath Carpenter. Heath Carpenter over-rotates right there and opens up the door. And Marty Hart drives around. It wouldn't be long after that. Marty Hart and Robert Naughton get together.
A little contact is normally okay this time at the end of the day for Marty Hart, but he will be back. Deegan held off Naughton, who tried to dive to the inside, but it was not to be.
Across the stripe comes Brian Deegan for his first ever U-Light win. Congratulations.
Well, guys, two things happen here today. We see a guy for the first time in victory lane in U-Light competition. Here it is, home racetrack. How about that? Brian Deegan knocking off Rob Naughton, Marty Hart up there. You got Ampudia. Talk about that race and what it means here to win in front of a hometown crowd, man.
Oh, man, I have to say we're in militia country, and it wasn't going down like that. So pretty much got out in the lead. All day I've just been thinking about it. I'm like, I just want to get in the lead and win. And I've been here so many times riding my dirt bike. I know this dirt, and I'm like, I'm taking this thing.
How about that truck? Because, I mean, like you said, once those guys showed you a nose, I mean, Naughton got up in there. It looked like he had something for you, and you guys just pulled away.
Yeah, Naughton, I heard my spotter telling me, hey, Naughton's on you. I said, well, good, he can give me a little bump, and I'll get out further. So that's pretty much what happened. He got a little fire under me, and I just went for it, dude. I wasn't letting no one around me, dude.
Well, hey, congratulations. Big win for you. I know it's great, man. Nice job.
Thank you. I'm just stoked. The guys from Kafaro Motorsports helped me out a lot. George, the crew chief, Metal Militia, Rockstar, Lucas Oil. Couldn't have done without those guys, so, yeah.
Deegan hot, man. All right, let's go to the U Open race. Carl Rennezetter qualified on the pole, followed by Travis Coyne and then Jerry Doherty. Good look at Travis Coyne right there, and yeah, it's an open race, so we'll see the two-wheel drive trucks in here as well. Let's take a look at the highlights of the U Open race, and Kent Brasho leading them around, Alan Pfluger right beside him.
No shortage of water on the track. Jerry Doherty going to the outside. Lots of roos from these four-wheel drive machines that lead him. As you said, 2 and 4-wheel drive out there. Hence calling it you open. Alan Pfluger going to the outside. Carl Renesetter in the number 1 down low.
Nice to have Tim Herbst with us out here. The Herbst brothers coming out to play ball. These guys have 3 trucks on their team. Great side-by-side action as Jerry Doherty and the Dixie Chopperback machine posting up there to Carl Renesetter. Kent Brasho would come out. Unfortunately, problems for him. He bent a right rear shock and was checked out, man. He was way out front, so right rear suspension damage ended his day early. Jerry Doherty and the Dixie Chopperback machine, and then of course the Pro Comp machine of Travis Coyne underneath him, but it was all Lucas Oil and Carl Renesetter checking out here.
Carl flying the number 1 colors, proving it as he gets to the checkered flag first, followed by Travis Coyne, then Tim Herbst. Rounding out the podium, Jerry Doherty just on the outside looking in 4th.
And of course a few victory donuts in celebration there for Carl Renesetter as we take a look at the Mac Tools unofficial results. Carl followed by Travis Coyne, then Tim Herbst, Jerry Doherty, and Robbie Woods rounds out the top 5. It's been an incredible day of racing here at the inaugural event for short course off-road racing at the Lake Elsinore Motorsports Complex. Yeah, we rocked the house, but we didn't do it alone. Alien Ant Farm helped us out all along the way. We thank them for some great music as well as they are part of this show. For Rob Klepper, yeah, it's been an end-over-end event. And of course for my partner Cameron Steele, thanks a lot for all the color. Hope you enjoyed all the racing, baby. I'm Ken Stout. We'll see you next time with the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series.